And let's start here. The death toll from the floods in KwaZulu-Natal has now risen to 448. KwaZulu-Natal Premier Sihle Zikalala says 5 more bodies were found today. At the same time, the SANDF has touched down in the province. Some 10,000 troops expected to help. Our senior reporter Siphamandla Goge, following that story, joining us now from Durban. So Sipa, we heard from the Premier just a little earlier. Just give us the very latest on the ground in terms of the death toll and those missing still.
448 confirmed death by now. 5 more bodies were confirmed today. So from 443 to now 448. That is the latest figure that has been revealed by the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal. There are fears that that number could still rise or may rise due to the fact that some more people have not been accounted for. They are still missing. Members of the South African National Defence Force have arrived in eThekwini and in KwaZulu-Natal. Bonga Mkhize will show you visuals of those helicopters that are here. They are helping with search and rescue for those who are still missing, but also retrieving bodies that have been found. And out of those bodies that were found today, we are told that these teams that are here at the old Virginia airport, which has been converted, it's been made a search and rescue command center, as these aircrafts will take off now to go and continue with the search and rescue missions across eThekwini, but not only across eThekwini, across the province of KwaZulu-Natal, as we see more and more of them preparing to leave, while others are returning from that search and rescue. Look at the number of police vehicles that are arriving here at the old Virginia airport. All these teams are back from the search and rescue operations. Others are here to recharge. They will then proceed to go and continue with the search and rescue missions. Of course, sometimes it's difficult to continue with the search and rescue operations once it gets dark, but you can see that some of them are from the organizations such as the Gift of the Givers. Others are members of the South African Police Service. There are units that are coming all the way from Gauteng, the Free State, Northwest, as well as the Western Cape. All of them are part of this search and rescue operation that is underway in various parts of KwaZulu-Natal, with the main focus being in eThekwini, which is the hardest hit here. You can see lights flashing. You can see those who are from eThekwini Fire and Emergency Services, and members of the South African National Defence Force are part of this as they prepare to take off to go and continue with search and rescue, but most importantly to deliver services to those communities who are still disconnected, who are stranded due to the fact that they are unable to access water and electricity. And it appears that these search and rescue operations will continue for a number of weeks to come, or even months, as some people are unaccounted for, and authorities have said that these operations will continue up until all families of those who are missing are able to find closure. That's something that the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Sihle Zikalala, urged those who are part of this search and rescue to continue with their operations, so that those who are still looking for their loved ones can get closure when it comes to this tragedy, as fears are continuing over those who are still missing. The Premier not giving out the exact number of those who are missing, but in the past he has said that about 60 people are missing. Yesterday, President Ramaphosa giving the number in the region of 40-something. So it's difficult to have accurate statistics for now, because the situation on the ground is treated as a live situation, whereby you can only confirm a person missing once that person has been reported to the police, and other communities have been unable to confirm and report missing people simply because they are still disconnected. As we see these 2 aircrafts here taking off to prepare for those search and rescue operations that are underway in most parts of eThekwini. You know, those who are familiar with eThekwini, we have never overhead such a situation whereby the entire city's airspace is forever, occupied by aeroplanes that are hovering around all the parts of eThekwini. The only thing you hear is the sound of aeroplanes, whether from the military or the police or even private aeroplanes that are helping with this search and rescue operation from various NGOs. The entire airspace of eThekwini has been taken over by aeroplanes and helicopters that are helping with search and rescue. Members of the Gift of the Givers, which is known to play a leading role during disasters, coming back from the search and rescue operation. Divers from other provinces as well playing their part in the search and rescue operations, as we see those military choppers taking off, going towards the town and the city center of eThekwini municipality as they continue with search and rescue. Let's take a listen to what the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Siphamandla Goge, had to say about the number of those that have passed away so far.
It's rising. They've just reported that today they've recovered almost another 5 bodies. So that will mean the number is increasing. Right now, they are showing us 6 teams are still on the field looking and searching for bodies of the missing people. The rescue teams that are here, our heart and ourselves as the people of KwaZulu-Natal collectively, we salute you for the work you've done. We salute you that despite the trauma that comes with the work, you dedicated yourself to come and fight this battle with us. You have shown that you are among the dedicated personnel of our country who are prepared to serve the humankind. You have demonstrated patriotism. You have demonstrated the preparedness to sacrifice for the country. There is no amount of words that could satisfy our appreciation to you. We remain indebted to you for the work that you have done.
So the death toll rising to 448, and as you say, between 40 and 60 people still missing. However, we know Gift of the Givers has told us today they believe as many as 200 people may still be missing. And of course, it's difficult to get a real handle on the scale of this disaster in the sense that so many areas were cut off, and I would imagine that information changes every single day. Of course, last night the President declaring a national state of disaster, and I'm wondering how that plays out on the ground in KwaZulu-Natal. We know that Operation Chariot, which is the SANDF coming in, expected some 10,000 troops. Is that linked directly to the national state of disaster declaration? What can you tell us?
Well, Operation Chariot has been basically designed to assist KwaZulu-Natal with search and rescue operations, but also humanitarian aid in terms of assisting those who are stranded. 10,000 soldiers were set aside or dedicated to be deployed to KwaZulu-Natal. During a couple of days ago, we saw some of their helicopters assisting with search and rescue, retrieving bodies. We have seen now some of them being deployed in various parts of eThekwini and KwaZulu-Natal. We expect that more and more will come as the minister responsible for public works and infrastructure, Patricia Delin, told the eNCA earlier on that infrastructure is badly damaged. There are some government buildings that have been damaged, saying there will be a need to set aside state-owned land to resettle those who are flood victims who need shelter, saying she will make that available. She will compile the list of the available state land to assist the flood victims, saying in the meantime the priority is to build bridges and roads that have been damaged in KwaZulu-Natal. Let's take a listen.
Let me start with the state-owned buildings. We've identified more than 50 that were damaged by the floods, including the KZN Museum. So we're now busy making assessments to start repairing those government-owned buildings. Then we're also responsible for rural bridges together with the province and the Department of Defense. We are going to go there now. We have planned 18 bridges for this financial year for KZN. We now have to increase that by another 10. So the province has assisted us to identify these places where we need this excess bridges. The other one is that the MEC do need land to resettle communities from those high-lying areas and the flood areas. And we have looked at our immovable asset register, and I'm going to make proposals of land parcels available to the MEC and to the National Minister so that we can start looking at the resettlement. So that is what we will be doing today too. But we know that urgency is key. People have been without water and electricity for almost a week now. And we are pulling up all stops by working together with the province and with the municipality to see how fast we can bring things back to normality.
I mean, Sipha, there is so much work that has to be done. And it was interesting to hear our Cooperative Governance Minister, Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, saying today that we have to build back better, of course, referencing the fact that if we're going to see more and more intense floods in this region in particular because of the climate change, we have to get it right this time. I know that the environment is a particular area of passion for you. Do you have faith that the right decisions are going to be made, even if they're tough ones and expensive ones, to make sure that particularly eThekwini is built back better and more flood resistant?
It's too late, but never too late again. It should have been done earlier. Remember, it's not for the first time that we find ourselves here. 2017, there was flooding in eThekwini. 2019, flooding across KwaZulu-Natal. The issue of drought has been affecting this province of KwaZulu-Natal. Severe weather patterns have become a common feature across KwaZulu-Natal. People have lost their livelihoods because of climate change and its impact, which is severe and visible. The question is, what has been done previously to prepare for this? Because it will not get better, it will get worse. Climate change and its impact is visible and severe. It's upon us. The question is, how do you respond to that? How do you mitigate the impact? What has South Africa done, not only in KwaZulu-Natal? Is it something that South African authorities and the South African citizens are taking seriously? Are we responding to climate change the way we should be responding, whether in terms of how people in their communities build, but also how government is ensuring that they build resilience for communities to be able to survive and live with natural disasters? The United Nations Climate Change Agency has said that by 2050, eThekwini will be one of the cities across the globe that will be under severe threat of severe flooding. That tells you that moving forward, you will continue to have frequent flooding in KwaZulu-Natal and eThekwini, which is one of the coastal cities. The question is, how do you respond to that? Hence, the issue of climate change needs to be taken seriously. South African leaders as well as citizens need to adapt and adjust to the climate change and its impact, because all the results are there. All the statistics are pointing to the fact that more needs to be done urgently to adapt and deal with the impact of climate change.
Yeah.